What's going on, guys? Jada Black here. Shout out to everyone that's tuning in. I want to talk about Dawn Robinson. She is part of In Vogue, which was a legendary R&B group back in the 90s. She posted a video on YouTube, and she talked about how she's been living in her car for the past 3 years. And she went into detail about why and how she is doing this by choice. Some of the issues that she cited was that back in 2020, she was living with her mother, and she claims her mother began to take her anger out on her. So she left that situation and went to go stay with her manager, but that didn't work as well. And she says it's been hard for her to find an apartment in Los Angeles because her manager is playing games with her. Listen, I'm not gonna sit here and be judgmental, but just by what I had looked at and read and what's going on with her, it looks to me like it's everybody else's fault as to why she's in a situation. That's just how it comes across to me. I'm not saying that Dawn Robinson is a bad person at all. I don't know her, but it's just she listed reasons as to why she was living in her car. And one of the things I haven't seen yet is, has she reached out to friends and other family members? Because if this is by choice, then all those other reasons as to why you're where you're at doesn't matter. But the thing is that this struck a chord with a lot of people because she's part of In Vogue, again, a legendary R&B group, and who I believe is still touring. That's her on the far left. I believe they're still performing, right? They're still touring. And the whole time, well, not the whole time, but of the last 3 years, she has been living in her car. I think there might be more to it. Maybe she should leave the West Coast. There's a lot more affordable housing elsewhere, but apparently that's where she wants to be. She wants to be out there, out west. So there's nothing you can tell. She just seemed like a very, I don't say stubborn person, but she's very headstrong and she wants to do what she wants to do. And nobody's going to tell her differently, but it's just not a good look. And according to Jermaine Dupri, which we're going to get into, she has an assistant. According to Jermaine Dupri, he claims that she has an assistant, but she's living in her car. That's why there are people questioning if this is authentic or not. And they're questioning, why for 3 years have you been living in your car? So let's get into this story here, according to Vibe. Dawn Robinson has opened up to her followers about her current living situation, revealing that she has been living in her car for the past few years. The In Vogue member shared a video on her YouTube channel and explained why she chose the lifestyle and updated people on what she has learned throughout the process. You know what I would do? If it was a situation where I didn't want to live in an apartment or a house, get a van. I think vans may be a lot more cozy, or RVs, than being in your car. Okay, that's just, what I'm saying. I understand that more because it's built to where you have a sleeping situation. I think you even have you have a bathroom in it. Depends if you get like an RV, but she wants to be in a car. You guys, for the past 3 years, I've been living in my car. I said it. Oh my gosh, it's out. She said with a sigh of relief. The singer explained how she was living with her parents in Vegas in 2020, but decided to move out after her mother started taking her anger out on her, which is sad if that's true, by the way. Then her manager convinced her to come back to Los Angeles where she could stay with him for a bit. However, that situation also didn't work out and it became increasingly difficult to find an apartment due to the manager playing games. Robinson began researching car life and learned about the community people who live in their vehicles. She thought to herself, wow, I could do this, and started her journey on March 9th of 2022. Upon reflection, she gathered that her former manager was attempting to control and trap her by playing with her housing situation, and car life was her solution. It just looks to me she doesn't like to be controlled. She didn't like living with her parents. She says her mother would take her anger out on her. She just don't like being controlled. I don't think she likes being told what to do, which is probably why she left her, living with her parents all those years ago. Although it was unknown territory, the Hold On artist felt good about the choice she made. Say, I felt free. She shared about her decision. I felt like I was on a camping trip. It just felt like it was the right thing to do. She pointed out that a lot of other celebrities had lived in their cars during their respective journeys, including Marvin Gaye. She then reiterated that she is not looking for pity, but rather she's sharing her story because it's been a chapter of awakening, healing, forgiving, and growing. It's not, woe is me. I'm learning about who I am. I'm learning myself as a person, as a woman, she said. Her conversation was filled with empathy and support. Wow, you never know what people are going through. I always looked up to you as an artist. People used to day I look like you, which was a huge compliment. You are beautiful and strong. You will make it. Better days are ahead of you. God bless you. Someone will make a movie out of your life one day, one person wrote. Another added, as an American woman, I totally understand your circumstances. I'm praying for your protection, safety, prosperity, good health on all levels. A handful of people share that they have been through very similar circumstances. Robinson auditioned for the female group in 1989, which then went on to become In Vogue. The four women ensemble released their debut album Born to Sing the following year and achieved commercial success as the body of work went platinum. The streak continued with their next multi-platinum album, Funky Divas, in 1992. Robinson sang lead vocals on the album, chart-topping singles, which included My Lovin', Give Him Something He Can Feel, and Free Your Mind. Okay, let's go here. Her ex-husband is offering her work. His ex-husband has a job offer waiting if she's humble to work. See, that's the thing that I'm really wondering about, because maybe her and her mother was getting into it because she wasn't giving them any money for her situation. I mean, it's sad, but people want, if you living with them, whether they're relatives or not, they're going to want you to help them financially. Maybe she was not doing that. And the way that he's phrasing it, it's as if, she's refusing to work. Now, I don't know what her group situation is. I don't know if they're touring and performing, because that's a source of income when you tour. But, it's as if he don't feel like she want to work. Former In Vogue and Lucy Pearl singer Dawn Robinson has been living homeless for 3 years, and her ex-husband is offering her an olive branch in the form of a job in the hospitality industry. Andre Allen was married to Dawn from 2003 to 2010, and while their union ended in disaster, he tells TMZ Hip Hop he doesn't want to see her crash out and thinks she'd be perfect inclusion into the Hilton brands. Andre says he orchestrated Dawn's short-lived reunion with In Vogue before things shuttered for good. So she did link back up with he tried to get her back with In Vogue, but it I guess it fell apart. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you about Dawn, that she gets into situations and it falls apart? So maybe she's not touring with them, and that's why she's in the situation she's in. But he tells us, leaving the music industry actually saved his life and finances. He says he found God, a new fiance, and now makes more money than he ever did in the music industry. Even after earning 2 Grammys, several gold albums, and his royalties as a solo artist, a member of the R&B group, for example. Andre claims he loaned dozens of notable music industry friends money and saw dozens of others die in poverty, and doesn't want Don to share the same fate. That's the music industry. You know, you leave more broken than you went into it with. And maybe he does see his ex-wife struggling and he wants to help her. He's trying to do something decent as far as, because nobody else is wanting to help her, because that's what this all stems from. You have a very stubborn woman who, you know, he says that he tried to link her back up with En Vogue, but that didn't work. She went back to live with her parents. That didn't work. She went to stay with the manager. That didn't work. It just seems like, is she actually working on herself? Or is it everybody else? And living in a car gives her the perfect excuse to not reach for any type of goals. Dawn admitted that she had been living out of her car for the past 2 years after claiming particular family members and ex-manager left her high and dry. But Dre believes the industry and her ego disillusioned his ex. He says her ego. Dre feels Dawn can use her charisma and personality built up by the music industry to make real money in his field, to influence people with sales. Entertainment isn't going to pay what she is worth. And showing you this. I guess this is what he's been doing. Dawn can still keep tabs with industry pals and record and tour her music. Andre says her Hilton position would offer her free medical from day one, and she'll earn PTO to juggle her career. Andre says he floated this offer to Dawn before her homeless situation jumped off. Hopefully she is willing to humble herself and accept the opportunity. So he's trying to help her, and he's telling her the ways that she can make money. And you know, it probably would take, I don't know if he lives, I don't know if he lives in LA or he lives elsewhere. But yeah, she seemed like a very stubborn woman. Very stubborn. Let's get to Jermaine Dupri, what he had to say real quick. Original En Vogue member Dawn Robinson recently revealed that she's been living in her car for the past 3 years. The news shocked many of her fans and peers, including producer Jermaine Dupri, who is now questioning Robinson's financial issues after she revealed that she had an assistant when she decided to live in her vehicle. Having an assistant is not something you should even think about if you don't have no money, Dupri asserted during an Instagram live chat with his followers Wednesday. I'm bringing this up because Dawn, when she was telling the story about her living in her car for the last 3 years, she said, I was telling my assistant, and when she said that, I said, oh bleep, wait a minute. It changed my whole vibe of what I was watching, because there ain't no way she got an assistant and she ain't got no money. Ain't no way. He later added, I'm just trying to make sure people are paying attention to the whole scoop of this story. She got an assistant. I don't know if she broke. She might not have all the money that she want in the world, but she's definitely not broke saying she got an assistant. Dupri then emphasized another aspect of Robinson's revelation as she shared that her decision to live in her car came after much research into communities that reside in cars, vans, RVs. It was her choice to live in her car, the Social Death founder shared. I saw somebody send a message that said, Jermaine, Monica, all y'all, can y'all put some money together and help Dawn out? From my understanding, she was basically saying that she saw other people living in their vans, living in RVs, and she welcomed the idea of doing this. Robinson's original video found the songstress claiming that she had a manager at the time who paid for her to live in a hotel for 8 months after she moved out her parents' Las Vegas home due to strife with her mother. After realizing that he was playing games and wouldn't approve of any of her apartment suggestions, she claimed she told her assistant that she had been doing research on car life community. Check out timestamp. Okay. Yo, this is a very weird picture, but I will tell you this. I don't know where her life is. Apparently, she's not working with her group mates anymore. And I don't know how things stand with Lucy Pearl. She was a part of that group. She has to look inward. I just think that she wants to do the bare minimum and not have to deal with bills. She don't want to have to deal with people. And that's a very sad existence. It really is. I would hope that for her sake, she gets things together, let the ego go. And I guess there's no reconciliation with her former In Vogue members. She just needs to get herself together because she should not be living in her car. And the thing is, I've heard of van life, I've heard of RV life, but I know it's out there, but I've never seen a glorification of living in your car. Now, we've had people say they're living in their cars, which has been very skeptical. They always have like a GoFundMe attached to it. But usually when they're in their cars, they're looking for help, right? But she's saying that she chose to live in her car. I don't know if that's true. I just think she's in a situation where she's burnt bridges. And when you burn bridges and you have nowhere to go, you have to accept your situation. And that's what looks like is going on here. I'm not saying that, it's 100% her fault because we don't know the full story. We just know her side of things. We haven't heard from her ex-group members that I know of. We haven't heard from her parents. We haven't heard from the manager. This is all her putting this out here. So we don't know. But I just don't think it's good for her to be living in her car. It's just not a good existence. But that's what ego and stubbornness does. It makes you do things that you really shouldn't do, but that's the ego. The ego makes you stubborn to the point to where you justify living in your car saying you chose that. So let me know what y'all think in the comments section below. Let me know your thoughts, like the video and share. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, and I'll see y'all next one.